Hello there, my name is Chrispy and I collect Legos and display them in the most creative ways that I can think of. I often create realistic bases taking inspiration from the art style of the Lego video games and combine them with existing and custom Lego sets and minifigures. Join me as I unveil my newest custom Lego display, bringing to life the beloved characters, iconic locations, and thrilling adventures from the blockbuster film series Pirates of the Caribbean. Chances are that if you clicked on this video that you already know about Pirates of the Caribbean and its accompanying line of Lego sets, but in case you do not, I'm going to give you a brief overview of them and their relevant history. If you're not interested in hearing about this, you can skip ahead with the time codes down in the description below. Before we get started, it would really help out the channel a lot if you could like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. We got a lot more exciting ones coming out, so stay tuned. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite Lego themes of all time. All the sets were so fun to build as a kid and contained so many great minifigures. The Lego theme was based on the film series of the same name created by Walt Disney Pictures, consisting of 5 films released between 2003 and 2017. The films were based on the hit attraction at Disneyland, which opened in March of 1967. And just to let you guys know, there will be spoilers ahead for the Pirates of the Caribbean film series. The first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, released in 2003 and introduced us to the charismatic pirate Captain Jack Sparrow, portrayed by Johnny Depp. Jack teams up with blacksmith Will Turner, portrayed by Orlando Bloom, to rescue Will's love interest, Elizabeth Swann, played by Keira Knightley, from the clutches of the cursed pirate crew led by Captain Barbossa, played by Jeffrey Rush. The film's success led to a franchise that expanded with subsequent sequels. The second installment in my personal favorite, Dead Man's Chest, released in 2006 and follows Jack Sparrow's quest to settle a blood debt with Davy Jones, captain of the Flying Dutchman. This leads Jack,
Captain Jack Sparrow,
Will, and Elizabeth on a thrilling adventure filled with treacherous alliances, mythical creatures, and heart-pounding escapades. The film ends on a cliffhanger where Jack Sparrow loses his life to Davy Jones's Kraken. In At World's End, released in 2007, the story of the first 3 films reaches an epic conclusion as Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, and Elizabeth Swann join forces with pirate lords from around the world to battle the formidable East India Trading Company and the malevolent Lord Cutler Beckett. The 4th and 5th films, while not my favorites, were released in 2011 and 2017 respectively. New villains and stories were introduced, yet the plots did not tie into much of the stories and characters already established from the first 3 films. The Pirates of the Caribbean film series has become known for its swashbuckling action, memorable characters, witty humor, and stunning visual effects. The films have collectively grossed billions of dollars worldwide, making it one of the most successful franchises in cinematic history.
I'm so sorry, were you still talking? I believe I nodded off a bit.
In November of 2010, it was officially announced that Lego Pirates of the Caribbean the video game was in production with a release date of May 2011. While doing research for this video, I thought that the game's Lego Captain Jack Sparrow's mumbles and groans sounded a lot like Johnny Depp himself. Not that I know what that sounds like or anything. I did a quick Google search and was surprised to find that they actually hired Johnny Depp himself to voice his Lego counterpart. The video game was released to tie in with the release of the first wave of Lego sets, also released in May of 2011, with the second wave following shortly in November of the same year. 9 mainline sets were originally produced, with one more released in 2017 to tie into the most recent movie, Dead Man Tells No Tales. Many smaller sets have been released over the years, including 2 brickheads, a battle pack, various promotional polybags, magnet sets, keychains, alarm clocks, and watches. The theme was a quick success and beloved by fans of both Lego and the film series. At the time, the theme acted as a thematic replacement for the popular Lego Pirates theme, featuring many of the same elements. In 2011, the Lego Group reported that due to the launch of many new themes, including Pirates of the Caribbean, it had for the first time in its 50-year history in the American market surpassed $1 billion in consumer sales of Lego products. Unfortunately, the theme was discontinued for the second time in 2017, and given the low chances of another installment in the franchise due to the poor relationship between Disney and Johnny Depp, it is unlikely for it to ever return. Many of the sets have since dramatically increased in value, with the Black Pearl averaging over $1,000 new, a set that originally retailed for less than $100. As a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan growing up, I was fortunate enough to obtain all the mainline sets while they were still in stores. Being such a beloved classic to the Lego community and one of my favorite Lego themes, I unfortunately always struggle to display these sets in a way that they deserve. This shelf display took a very long time to complete, most likely because I was working on it only every couple of weeks when I would come home from college during my spring semester to visit my family. I spent a long time researching various techniques and tutorials to create the realistic scenery. I did a lot of studying so I could make sure to make them look as good and as real as I possibly could. And going outside and touching grass definitely helped seeing what nature should look like instead of just building Legos in my parents' basement. Please let me know in the comments if you would like for me to go into more detail about the process behind creating the base of the shelf in a future video, but for now, I'm just going to focus on the display and the Lego elements themselves. Because I only have one shelf open, I realized that I could not include all 10 of the Lego sets, nor could I depict all 5 of the movies. I chose to only focus on the first 3 as they can be considered a trilogy of sorts and tie into each other a lot more than 4 and 5 do. There were various elements that I knew I would have to design and create out of Lego myself, as unfortunately, the Lego theme from 2011 to 2017 left out many major moments and characters from their line of sets. Blackbeard's ship from On Stranger Tides, the Queen Anne's Revenge, was a great Lego set, and you can see here, it looks great, but I'd always wished that Lego made the Flying Dutchman instead, as it's a much more iconic and important element of the overall story and being a prominent element in movies 2 and 3. Years ago, my older cousin gave me a lot of his old Mega Bloks Pirates of the Caribbean sets, including the Flying Dutchman, and I was very tempted to rebuild it from the pieces he gave me, but I decided to stay pure and continue using Lego. Since I was little, I was always looking up instructions for someone's custom Flying Dutchman mod so that I could make one of my own, or maybe I would find out that Lego was finally making one of their own. Before I started creating this display, I looked online to see if anyone had instructions available for their own Flying Dutchman mock that I could make for my display, but unfortunately I did not find one that I was in love with, so I decided I would try to make one for myself. Although I did not build it completely from scratch, I used Slybird's stud.io file that I modified to look more accurate and be more cost efficient. I achieved the latter part by removing most of the pieces on the inside as I was only planning on having it on display. I am very pleased with how this model turned out, but unfortunately, I later decided that I did not have enough room for this on my shelf without it looking too crowded, so I never actually bought the pieces for it. I do hope to one day make this custom, either by itself or with a second Pirates of the Caribbean show, where I also include movies 4 and 5. If you are interested, the file for this model can be downloaded on Rebrickable for free. This scene right here is based on Dead Man's Chest and depicts Jack's unfortunate demise to Davy Jones's Kraken. Since I did not have enough room for 2 pirate ships, but I had too much room for just one, I had the idea to make the Kraken out of Lego and have it attack the Black Pearl. Lego unfortunately never made an official Pirates of the Caribbean Kraken, and the one that they did create for the main Pirates line is just an octopus. I recreated the tentacles from Hamster Productions' legendary stop-motion video using instructions by Joshua Chawner. I changed the red color to gray to make it more accurate to the movies, which fortunately for me made it way less expensive to order pieces for, and I am extremely happy with how these turned out. You can see here that Jack has been handcuffed to a ship by Elizabeth Swann and is trying very hard to escape before the Kraken consumes him. Just like in the movie, Jack is tenaciously trying to grab the lantern using his sword. The remaining of Jack's crew who survived the Kraken's initial attack are all escaping on this rowboat here. We have Will Turner, Gibbs, Elizabeth Swann, Pinto, Rigetti, Cotton, and Marty. Except for Will and Gibbs, all of the figures here are customs that I made using extra pieces. I'm especially happy with how Cotton turned out, which uses Ollivander's face print from the original Diagon Alley set, but I think these all look great, good enough to at least be seen from the side. As a kid, I was disappointed that Lego never created a Pintel or Rigetti minifigure, so I had to create various versions of them for my display. This undead comedic duo was always one of my favorite parts of the movies, and it is a shame that Lego never made them. Back here in the corner, we have Jack Sparrow floating in the ocean in a coffin. This scene is also from Dead Man's Chest, and the coffin piece is from Monster Fighter's theme, and is actually Count Dracula's. The crow that lands on the coffin is part of Tonto's headpiece from the Lone Ranger theme, which coincidentally also stars Johnny Depp. I originally thought of creating resin waves and water ripples for all of the Lego elements, but I did not want to be unable to move the Lego pieces around if I ever wanted to rearrange the display in the future. Like if I wanted to move the Kraken arms away, they would still have a ripple effect from where they were coming out of the water, and I didn't want to be locked in place like that. I instead decided that all of the realistic elements that are a part of the base will have water interact with it in realistic waves, similarly to how the rocks and mountain on the right side of the shelf have resin waves crashing into it instead of Lego ones. I also decided that all of the Lego elements will have the water interact with them in Lego waves, utilizing white and transparent blue studs as seen here on the dock and other various aspects like the Kraken arms. I believe that adding these studs to the realistic display makes it look a lot more recognizable as a LEGO display, and it gives it a better overall theme. An unfortunate danger of using resin is that over time the LEGO pieces may become merged with the resin if they make too much contact. That is why all of the boats and ships in my display have 2x2 inverted round pieces at the bottom of them to make sure that the boats and ships themselves do not permanently get stuck to the resin, especially the Black Pearl, as it is a very expensive collector's item now. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't have enough room on this shelf to display all my Pirates of the Caribbean pirate ships, so over here is my row of pirate ships. We got the 2 Pirates of the Caribbean ships, the Silent Mary and the Queen Anne's Revenge, and I also got the LEGO Ninjago movie and the LEGO movie ship. But below that, I got my Star Wars ships on display. I think this is the perfect time to talk about this video's sponsor, BrickStands. They created all of these display stands here, and I love how I was able to do it. I got all my pirate ships in one row, and then I got my Star Wars ships in the other. Here are the 4 main display stands that BrickStands has to offer. We got the micro, the small, the medium, and the large. And in case you're curious, we got the Eiffel Tower here for reference. They also got some wall-mounted displays, and they're such high quality, and they're all 3D printed, and actually use official LEGO pieces as well. They're very reasonably priced and can't be beat, and you can get it for even cheaper by using code CRISPYBRICKS at checkout for 15% off. My favorite part about these stands is that they can be customized to be displayed at any angle you wish, which is such a great thing to have. I definitely recommend these, and I genuinely think that they're the best solution to display your ships. Go get them now. Of course, I had to create the first film's introduction to Jack Sparrow, where he rides the mast of a sinking ship onto the dock in Port Royal. I had always planned on making a dock here, but adding Jack on his ship was actually inspired by many of your amazing Instagram and TikTok comments, so thank you. Another addition that I created based on your comments is Davy Jones's crew emerging from the water, just like they did in Dead Man's Chest. On the right hand side is Bootstrap Bill. He is simply standing on top of the resin with blue studs at his feet to give off the impression that he is somewhat in the water. I wanted to give off the impression of the water being shallower closer to the shore and deeper farther away, which is why each figure to the left of Bootstrap is shorter and shorter exponentially. I know Bootstrap Bill is not actually a part of this scene in the movie, as he does not leave the ship, but I honestly just wanted to include him somewhere in my display, and I thought that this was the best spot. Macus is somewhat submerged underwater. Macus is this hammerhead shark guy from the movies. You'd recognize him, probably not by name, but he has some brick-built legs poking through. Unfortunately, LEGO did not make many minifigures for Davy Jones's crew, so I had to resort to making custom minifigures again. To the left of Macus is a crocodile minifigure from the LEGO Chima set with his headpiece removed. I removed the headpiece because it would not make any sense for a crocodile to be in the Caribbean, but without the head, the figure could pass as something more similar to a turtle maybe. He is shorter than Macus with both of his legs completely underwater. In the back is another custom figure just barely exiting the water, using Darth Vader's head underneath his helmet. I love how I was able to pose him, and he is just a head on a 1x1 dark bluish gray stud, and 2 arms detached, placed on the resin with some studs around him. Over here we have 2 dolphins jumping out of the water and riding the waves. They are balanced with transparent pieces underneath them with some more blue and white studs at the base of their tails. I know that dolphins never appeared in the film series, but I had this empty space and I wanted to fill it, and I thought that adding some more LEGO elements would look great, and dolphins are in the Caribbean. The dog with the keys in his mouth is such an iconic figure from both the movies and the rides, so I knew I had to include it somehow. To create this figure, I simply used a dark gray dog piece and use some poster putty to stick a key to its mouth. I needed something to fill up this area over here, and I think that this was the perfect solution. Back here we have the scene from At World's End, where Pirate Queen Elizabeth and Pirate Lords Barbossa and Jack Sparrow meet with Will Turner, Lord Cutler Beckett, and Davy Jones before their big ocean battle. I am aware that in the movie this meeting takes place on a tiny island, but I had to make some compromises to maximize the limited space on this shelf. The Will Turner figure here is actually a custom. I did not have enough Will Turner minifigures to complete this display, so this figure only uses his hairpiece, while the head is from Tony Stark and the body is from Frodo Baggins. But you can't really tell in my opinion. Another important character that was never created by LEGO is Lord Cutler Beckett, the main antagonist from the third film with a very iconic death scene. I created this custom minifigure using parts from a collectible minifigure series George Washington and a face from Ron Weasley. I gave him short legs to continue the bit from the LEGO game where he is always too short to be in the frame when compared to every other character. When I posted this display onto my TikTok account, at the time I forgot Beckett's name and referred to him as the British guy. And I received lots of comments correcting me. My favorite one had to have been, bro knows the name of Pintel and Rigetti, name dropped like once in the trilogy, but the main villain of Pirates of the Caribbean 3 is British guy. This comment made me laugh so hard when I read it, because it's just so true. Speaking of British people, this very rare Davy Jones figure who sells for up to $300 is standing in a bucket of water because he is only able to step foot on land once every 10 years. There are various smaller buckets behind him because that is also present in the movie and is probably how we got to the bucket from the ocean. These Barbossa and Captain Jack minifigures are the same ones present in their respective LEGO sets and are not customs in any way. Elizabeth is a complete custom minifigure because for some reason LEGO only ever made her wearing her dress from the first movie, which is a disappointment. Monkey Jack is the only Mega Bloks piece present in this display. LEGO never made this figure either, and he looks too good to not put somewhere on the display. Please forgive me.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
No, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Over here in this rowboat, we have Jack's iconic jar of dirt. I wasn't able to put it with him in the Black Pearl because, of course, it is depicting a different action scene. So instead, I have it in this rowboat here that it was in for a brief moment in the movie. These palm trees were very simple to make. They are 4 long green leaf pieces stacked on top of each other on a 2x2 round green plate. Underneath all of that are a lot of 1x1 reddish brown cone pieces that I slightly bent and curved to give them their signature bend. At the base of the palm tree is a tan 4x4 plate that I buried under the sand. I originally had all of these as realistic palm trees, but thanks to your amazing comments and recommendations, I changed them to LEGO and I absolutely love how much better they look. So thank you for the great recommendation. Here's the iconic mill from Dead Man's Chest, where James and Will sword fight
What?
on top of the giant wheel before it breaks free and scoops up Jack Sparrow. The mill's LEGO set is such a classic, but when compared to everything else on the shelf, it just felt like it was too small. So using extra pieces I had lying around, I expanded upon the mill and made it both larger and more accurate while still being recognizable to the original set, and I am very happy with how this turned out. Over here, we have more custom Pintel and Rigetti minifigures that I made holding Davy Jones's heart and running away with it in this treasure chest. Pintel's face is from a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set and Rigetti's is from Aquaman. Right next to them is Hadras from Davy Jones's crew, whose head fell off. You can see that his body is trying really hard to find it, but it is hard to do so with no eyes.
No.
Inside this mountain over here, we have Isla de Muerta from Curse of the Black Pearl. Inside the cave, you can see the giant mound of Aztec gold that Barbossa's skeleton crew had been collecting. I gathered all of the extra gold and Lego pieces I could find, including keys, tiles, rings, coins, bars, Ninjago weapons, and even C-3PO's head, as a little Easter egg there. These were all stuck to the rock mound by using little pieces of poster putty underneath them. In front of the mound of Aztec gold, Captain Jack Sparrow willingly cursed himself to be an undead skeleton so that he could fight Barbossa and not die while doing so. There are various pieces of gold around their feet that have fallen off the larger mound, of course. These two guys, carrying a chest of Aztec gold, are part of Barbossa's undead crew. Just like in the movie, one of the skeletons has a sword stuck through his chest, but he is unfazed as he does not feel pain, nor can he die. Out here, we have one of the boats of British soldiers that Jack led here to supposedly catch Barbossa's crew. To create these extended arms that these soldiers have to hold their guns, I am simply putting a Lego Friends mini doll arm into a Lego minifigure arm socket. The crew does, however, get distracted by who they think are two ladies in dresses coming out of the cave in another boat. These two ladies are actually Pintel and Rigetti, wearing disguises with umbrellas to shield them from the moonlight as they would become skeletons, of course. Up here above Isla de Muerta is Isla de Pelegostos, where the Pelegostos cannibals believe Jack is their chosen one. You can see Jack is on his throne with his special makeup and fancy hat, surrounded by two cannibals, making sure that he stays on his chair. I created the effect of Jack Sparrow sitting down by using two 1x1 modified bricks, each with a technicolor inside of it for each peg of Jack's legs. The hat was created by using poster putty to combine various already existing Lego pieces.
Nice hat.
In between these two mountain peaks is a cannibal walking across a rope bridge, and these bridges were present throughout the island in the movie, so I had to make sure to include one somewhere. I made the bridge myself with some spare parts I had lying around. And finally, down here, you can see that I added various discolored vines to the mountainside to fill up the empty space with more Lego elements. These are stuck to the mountain using poster putty on top of the vine. I hope this video sparked your own sense of adventure and inspired you to go on your own Lego building journey. Remember, the power of imagination knows no bounds, and with Lego we can build worlds and narratives limited only by our own imagination. I hope this helps. Have a great day.